another segment of the LPE Author Chat series. I am your host, Kimberly K. LaBoo, CEO and founder of LaBoo Publishing Enterprise. And we are excited to be back with another segment honoring our authors from the Mom and Me Volume 2. And so we're interviewing our authors from this book, and I'm so excited because our proof copy came in today. We are so close to launch, which is happening on June 5th. So be sure to mark your calendars and join us for all of that excitement. So let's jump right in. Our special guest on this evening is author Danielle Batiste. And Danielle penned the chapter in the Mom and Me Too titled Parenting with Bipolar Disorder. So welcome to the broadcast, Danielle.
Thank you. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yes, so happy to have you. You participate in our other projects, one of my other projects, and I was just blown away because I was like, wait, there's more to her story that I didn't even know. So first, I just want to ask you, why did you say yes to this project? And then secondly, why did you feel that it was important to share about this topic this time?
First, saying yes to this project. I love working with you. Everything is so easy, runs so smooth. So it was great doing another anthology with you. Second, you're welcome. Second, bipolar, there's a big, stigma, of course, on it. But parenting with bipolar, you never hear. So I thought I would just give a bit of my story, just a little bit, because I'm still kind of little shy about talking about it, but I did pen, a good bit in this book. So I thought it would be great to put some out there for others who are parenting with bipolar.
That's awesome. And I commend you for doing that. And yes, you did share quite a bit in your chapter. And I just think that's really important because even with someone like me, it's like I have no point of reference but you right now, to talk and share about this topic because it's something that I don't really hear people talk about. Like, what is it like to parent with bipolar disorder? So I was really excited when you said that you were going to write about that because I feel like it's something that's going to be really beneficial to the community. And so thank you for your transparency in your chapter and just thank you for sharing. And so I'm going to, of course, share some excerpts from your chapter and then get you to, share a little bit more about what you wrote. So you opened your chapter by saying, being a mom and living every day of your life with bipolar disorder and anxiety is excruciating to say the least. You went on to say, this is an uphill battle for me, one that I battle alone due to my stubbornness. I was diagnosed before my baby came along, but no one could get me on the right blend of medications, so my moods were all over the place. I became manic, and sometimes I would stay in that mood for 2 weeks at a time. So how could I deal with a newborn when I couldn't deal with myself? I hated the cries and the early mornings getting up to feed him. So talk a little bit about what it's like. First, because you go on in the journey in the chapter, which I'll share more about, but what was it like to parent an infant dealing with this?
Well, as you know, like I said, infants, that's different than dealing with older kids. You have to get up for feedings and changes and but when I'm in my depressed side of bipolar, I don't want to deal with nobody. I don't want to deal with no infant. I don't even want to deal with myself. So why would I want to deal with an infant? And it's hard. And you have to, at that time when I had him, my husband deployed after he was born. So I was by myself with him. So I had to find the strength from somewhere, and I mean somewhere, to get up and deal with a newborn. Well, he was not really so much a newborn, but it was hard. And you're looking at somebody that you have to take care of when you can't even take care of yourself.
Wow.
So it was like, okay, you need to go to sleep. You need to go to sleep because I don't want to deal with you. I don't want to deal with you, and back in the crib, I just want to lay down because I already feel like I'm hopeless, I'm worthless, da, 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 da. I just want to lay down, I just want to sleep. I don't want to hear nothing. And then when I'm in my moods where I'm just in mania and I'm just so happy and in the streets, just shopping. I got a baby with me. I got a travel baby, and I just want to be in and out the stores, do what I got to do. I want to be out there. So it's an up and down thing with bipolar. You when you in that mood of you just in your mania, that's when you feel you have all these big grandiosity ideas and you can do this and you can do that, but you have someone else you got to deal with. And I'm not even gonna lie, I didn't want to deal with him. I didn't because I want to do me. I'm like, oh, and then when I hit that, and when that depression hits you, bam, you down. It's like, oh, but I got to take care of somebody else. So it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah,
And
it sounds
you
like
gotta
it.
find the strength. You gotta find the strength because you gotta do it. Who else is gonna do it? And I'm not the type of person that I ask for help. So that's why I say to my stubbornness, I don't ask for help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we want to talk a little bit more about that too later on. But one of the things you also talked about was the difficulty in trying to find the right medications. And I could imagine that that was frustrating all by itself. So you said trying all those different medications drove me bananas. If I couldn't get settled in my mind, how was I supposed to take care of a child when my mind was racing? I could not focus on one thing and always seemed to be walking around like a raging bull, waiting for someone to say the wrong word. This is not being a mom, but I did the best I could with what I had. So, talk about the difficulties in getting on the right blend of medications, to help you in this already difficult journey.
With bipolar, you have I call it it's racing thoughts, but I explained to my doctor, it's like my mind trying to catch a train that I would never catch. And he was like, that's a good way of putting it. And I said, that's how I feel. I'm like, I'm chasing a train that I'm not going to get. So they kept changing my medication or, okay, try this, try that. And it's just frustrating because every time I would go back, it was like, okay, this is not working. This is not working. This is not working. So I have been through quite a few medications for bipolar. Right now, I'm stable right now on what I'm on. But it's frustrating going through different types of medication. So and nothing is really working, or is some of the medication making you gain weight or giving you headaches. So it's hard.
Yeah, I can imagine. Wow. So you also talked in your chapter about your son also being diagnosed, and what that was like for you. But then I want to go back to what you were saying about not asking for help and everything. You said my only fault is that I had really good friends and I didn't rely on them for fear of being judged and them thinking they could raise my son better than I could, or telling me how I should do this or that, and do it this way. Because you see, if you tell me to do something, I get really upset and start cursing you out because I don't want to hear it. It's just better that I don't tell them anything at all. That's a real struggle right there. But I could understand like the part about not wanting to be judged, or feeling kind of insecure about sharing something
Right.
so deeply personal. So share a little bit about what that's been like.
Um, First of all, I love my friends, but No, I wouldn't tell them anything. And they were like, why you didn't tell me you was going through this? Or whatever. I'm like,
Mhm.
I no. And then I don't even think it crossed my mind to really like, oh, I'm going through this for Brandon. Could y'all help me? Mm-mm, no, because they
Mm.
had their own life. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, they don't need to be bothered with mine, you know. So this is me. I need,
Mhm.
I got to do this. So no, I didn't tell them anything because, like I said, they
Yeah.
have their own life. They couldn't take off to babysit for me, or they, couldn't come and get him. And
Mhm.
then, I mean, to be honest, I really don't know because if maybe if I asked, they probably would have done everything I said that they wouldn't do. So
Yeah.
I didn't ask. So, and
Wow.
I didn't do it.
So did that change for you at some point though? Or did you really just
um,
continue to travel that journey
to-
alone?
I continued the journey by myself because
Wow.
when I came out with the book Crying Out and they read it, they gave me the riot act.
Yeah. Yeah.
I heard from them.
Oh, good.
So,
Good. Good. Um, so you talked about being back in therapy groups, and they're helping you because sometimes you still feel like you're on a you are a yo-yo. Um, so can you share about how therapy helps in this process so that people
therapy,
understand? Hmm.
therapy helps because we're sitting around a table and they go around and they were like, introduce yourself, tell us about yourself, and then they go into, you know, what issues you may have or whatever. So it helps because you hear other people like you having the same issues, um, which are different than yours, or some are like yours. I didn't when I'm in group, I don't hear anybody talking about parenting with bipolar, but we just have a lot of the same things, like the racing thoughts and having these big grand ideas that we could do this and that. And I was like, do any of you guys have where you have projects in your house? You have like 5 projects going on and none of them are done. It was like, yes. So I feel like, okay, I'm with my people. So it helps.
Well, shoot, I
So
got
it
some of
helps.
those.
So it helps to be with others that have the same issues, and then you form friends that
Hmm.
you can call and be like, I have this going on. So it helps, but it doesn't help sometimes. Like when I hit that low point, I
Hmm.
don't want to go to group. I don't want to hear what you got to say. So we have those two that
Hmm.
sometimes I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't want to talk because I don't want to be here. You irritating me right now.
Mm.
I'm just irritated, very
Yeah.
irritated. So
Yeah.
it's just that battle. You up, you down, you up, you down. You just never
Hmm.
know when it's gonna hit.
Yeah. Wow, that's so interesting. Um, like you said the journey has not been easy by any means, but I'm going to continue to do what I have to do, so my diagnosis won't get me down and keep me down because I have a lot to live for. And yes, that's my son. And so I was very
Yes.
encouraged to hear you say that, that you're pushing through
Yes.
for him because this is something that you live with every day. And so
Yes.
that was interesting. Yeah. Let's see. You said, even though I went through the worst, I still was able to raise him to be a very respectable young man. It was not easy because it's like my brain is racing and I'm fighting with myself and wanting to just lie in bed all day. It feels like your body has shut down, but when you have responsibilities, you push and push to do what you must. And I think for all of us, that are parents,
Mhm.
we find a way. Like whatever it is, we find a way because our babies mean that much to us to kind of push through these circumstances. Um, but you did encourage other people that may be dealing with this. You said that don't do like I did, don't refuse. Um, to ask for help. So I'm glad to hear you saying, that's a piece of advice that you would give to others is not to
Right.
refuse help. Although I can see how sometimes it may be difficult to ask for it. I was glad to see you put that in there. And then like towards the end of your chapter, you also had in capital letters, do not isolate yourself. Why do you think that's important?
Because if you isolate yourself in the way that we are wired and the way
Mhm.
that we think, we overthink and we think things are like this and they're not.
Yeah.
We'll form something in our head and instantly just be mad, or we'll put
Mhm.
ourselves in a mind frame that that situation is not even like that. So
Mhm.
so you'll be thinking, oh, I can go and do. I said suicide, but
Yeah.
sometimes that could be a thought. So that's what I was like. Don't isolate yourself. Please talk to other people. Go to your groups, talk to your doctors. Because I had to switch my doctor because it
Mhm.
seemed like, and why I said the part of the don't isolate and talk is because with my doctor, I had one that I really liked and I got switched to another doctor. And the way that she was talking to me instantly brought up, this is not a diagnosis, it's just my irritability. And it brought
Mm.
in, I'm like, I was like, I couldn't deal with her. I could
Yeah.
not deal with her. So, and it just changed my whole mood. And
Mm.
I was like, and she was like, are you irritated with me? And I was like, yes. Um,
Mm.
yes. She was like, I was just trying to tell you. I was like, I'm irritated. It's just that fast that we
Wow.
can just switch on you just that quick. Because like
Wow.
when I'm at work, I'm like, if you just said a wrong word, I can just instantly switch. So
Wow.
it's like we are just sometimes it's like if you see it, just back off. Just back
Mhm.
off. So,
Mhm.
and I have to come home. And now my son is 15, it's a little easier because he's very self-sufficient. So now if
Yeah.
someone irritated me at work, I can come home and I can go and lay down and I can be by myself and I can, cry. I can do whatever because I'm by myself. I need that me time sometimes. So it is so much easier now, parenting now, because he is
Yeah.
older versus when he was
I would
younger and
imagine
wanted to jump off a
so.
cliff. So,
Yeah, I guess
so,
so because they depend on you for so much.
so
And it's like
much. Exactly.
I can see how that would be a real struggle.
A real struggle.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's like I was saying, giving ways for us with, mental health issues to just relax,
Hmm.
talk to other people and things like that. So it's
Hmm.
it's it's hard if you have mental health issues. It's hard, but
Yeah.
we can live a normal life. We can live a
Yes.
normal life. It's hard, but we can live a normal life.
Yeah, I mean, because like I said, you were in one of our previous projects, and when you came up with this topic, I was like, wait, what? I had no idea. I had no idea.
And
So I'm,
after this, a lot of people won't.
oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
after this interview, a lot of people will be like, "Oh, I didn't know,"
they
because
didn't know.
I don't talk about it.
Well, I'm just going to say, I'm just so proud of you for doing this and for just having the conversation. One, having the conversation, two, having the courage to write about it, because I just think that it's something that needs to be talked about more, especially, when we see a lot of things now in the media around mental health and how that's being dealt with in the communities with the policing and all of that. All of those things, I just think that it's so important for someone that's living it to actually be talking about it versus people who think they know, you know. So I'm just so proud of you for doing this and for speaking about it, and I hope that, you know, this is the start of many more conversations that you will have, in order to educate and heal in the process, like from some things, you know. And so, which leads me to what was it like for you to write this chapter and actually open up and talk about this?
Actually, when I was writing it, I was just writing. It was like I wasn't even there when I was writing this chapter
Oh, wow.
because I didn't want to be associated. To be honest, I didn't want to be associated with this chapter.
That's interesting.
To be honest, I didn't want to
Tell me what
be
you mean. Tell me what you mean by that.
because I didn't want to be known as
Oh,
having bipolar. You know,
mm-hmm.
I like I said, I
Mm-hmm.
never talked about it, so I didn't want to be associated with, um, you know, parenting with bipolar. I just wanted to just just kind of be. I pinned the chapter, and I'm over here. I'm not the author of this chapter. You know, that's how I felt. I wanted to
Wow.
be away from this chapter.
That is so
So,
interesting.
but it's but you done drew me into this chapter, so I'm here, and
I have that way about me, right?
I love you for it. I love you for it.
Oh, it's just so important and just so necessary. So great job. And your name is associated with the chapter in the book.
I
So, like I said, though, I really just hope that it opens the door for more conversation
Mhm.
and opens you up to, you know, to talk more about it because you have a viewpoint and a vantage point that many don't have. And so to be able to share from that perspective, I think is just amazing and so important. And so I thank you for saying yes, to this, because you did an incredible job with it, and with this interview. So I just thank you for being so transparent and being willing to share. And so, tell me, what advice would you give to someone, given that you just
Mhm.
shared what you did and what it was like for you to write this? What, because I realized that writing, you know, I always say there's healing through writing, and this is such a
Right.
journey. And I don't think that people often realize when they start the writing process, like the
Mhm.
actual journey that it is, and all that you know, the emotions and the healing and this. And so, what advice would you have for someone who is thinking about sharing their story, especially around difficult topics?
Right. Right. I would say just like I have done, do
Mhm.
it
Yeah.
because, like you said, it will help someone else
Hmm.
that didn't want to tell their story.
Yeah.
But I did. I came out and told my story, even though I did say I did not want to be associated with the chapter, but I am. But
Yes.
definitely get out and write your story because your story might even help me. You know,
Yeah.
so please get out and write your story because your story will definitely help someone else. And I hope my story helps someone, even if it don't help 10 people, at least one person out of the group, I would be
Yeah.
definitely happy.
Well, it helped me, and it certainly gave me a better understanding and some insight, to something that I had not, you know, researched or had an opportunity or a need, you know, felt like I had a need to research. But
Mhm.
when you know, when I read your chapter, it just provided, you know, some clarity around some things about me because really, like I said, my only vantage point is what I hear in the news, you know,
Right.
about this. And it's always when something goes wrong, you know.
Mhm.
So to be able to actually read your perspective and what it's actually like to live with this, thank you. You know, I thank you for that because you're educating, and that's so important. And then not only, to educate someone like me who, doesn't deal with this, but just think about another mom that might be out there, or another parent that might be out there dealing with this. The comfort in knowing, because it's just like you said, when you go to the therapy group, when you started going, that feeling of, oh, it's not just me. And having other people that you can relate to. So that's, I think, what your story will also do for the parenting community. And so I'm really excited about that. So I'm just going to say, I'm just so proud of you.
Thank you. That means a lot.
So let's see, tell the people how they can purchase a copy of the book from you. So the pre-order until we launch on next week, how they could get a copy from you.
You can get a copy from me, www.daniellebatiste.com.
Awesome. So you guys support Danielle. You heard the struggle that it was for her to share this information. Support her, get the book, read her story, cheer her on, and get educated in the process about parenting with bipolar disorder. We'll all learn something new and be better for that information. So I thank you, Danielle. I thank you for showing up. I thank you for writing in The Mom and Me Too. I'm so excited to have you as a part of this project. And thank you for doing the interview this evening. And so our time is, coming to an end. And so to our viewing audience, I know that you must have gotten something out of this interview. And so I thank you for joining us again for another segment of the LPE Author Chat series. Stay tuned. The rest of this upcoming week, we'll have more of our contributing authors to be able to share about their chapters, and then leading up again to our June 5th launch date, where I hope that you'll mark your calendars and plan to join us for the official launch. So thank you again, Danielle, for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And to our audience again, if you are thinking about writing your book, you heard what Danielle said. She encouraged you to do so, and I encourage you to do so. But if that's you, head on over to www.LaBooPublishing.com and connect with us there. Thank you, guys. Take care. Be blessed, and we'll see you again a little later this week with another interview. Have a good night.